Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin, and today I have my next update for my Project 10 uses and my No Pan Left Behind. So I do my Project 10 uses first, and then we will roll into the No Pan Left Behind. But basically I decided to do my Project 10 uses to rotate through certain categories that are a little bit neglected in my collection, and then my No Pan Left Behind is I'm trying to touch every single shadow in my collection so that, again, I'm not neglecting the things that I have in these shelves and drawers behind me. So with a very quick explanation about how I am doing these projects, let's go ahead and roll into it. So we always do start with my Project 10 uses, and that is basically where I am rolling in randomly products from certain categories in my collection, and I do it on a roulette wheel, and I pick 10 items and I use them 10 times. Typically, I am doing that not necessarily to declutter things, but really just to get use on them. So I have quite a few rollouts this update, and so that means we're going to have lots of fun roll-ins. So let me get my products, my little book that I keep all my tracking in, and let me get my graphics pulled up, and we will go ahead and go over my Project 10 uses. So I have 6 products rolling out and 4 staying in for at least another month. And so let's go over the items that I was able to hit goal on. And the first one here is my Tarte highlighting palette. I had originally 2 shades rolled in, but it looks like shade number 4, I got my 10 uses on that last update, and we were just waiting to get 4 more uses on shade 2. This will look very different from my prior graphics because I did repress this shade. So the pan is gone, but I did get my additional 4 uses on this palette and some sneak peeks that I showed you guys also in my Get Ready With Me, which is actually uploading right now. But these 2 pans down here, I do have pan on those. So the pan down this one is very, very tiny, but I do have pan on these 2, and pan on this one is coming very shortly. So making really good progress on this. I love this highlighting palette. And if you are new here, hello, I Franken a lot of my products. This is not the original Tarte highlighting palette. I just use the packaging. I did a huge highlighter repressing video, which I will link up in the eye for you. But basically I repressed all of my highlighters and made highlighters that worked for my skin tone, and I repressed them into this palette. But we are able to roll this palette in a whole out of this project because I did get my additional uses on that shade number 2. Let's look at our next rollout. And let's look at my Commodity Milk Expressive perfume. I rolled this in 2 updates ago. Last update, we only had 7 uses, so I needed an additional 3, and I did get my additional 3 uses on this. You'll see on my graphic, I try to put a line, but really 3 uses is not going to make the line jump a whole lot, but I really do love this perfume. It is so warm and cozy, and I loved rolling this in. I see myself getting a lot more use out of this in the fall time just because of the cozy notes. But I was able to get my 10 uses on this perfume, and I was really happy to have that. I love that I rolled my perfumes and my nail polishes into this project because, again, it's been prompting me and pushing me to get more use on my products. And let's just roll into the nail polishes because I have all 3 that I'm going to roll out. So the first one, this one's been in for 2 updates, and this is the Holo Taco Modest Moss. It's this beautiful kind of foresty army green. I did have 6 uses on this last update, and caveat to how I'm using my nail polishes is that I count each hand or foot as 1 use. So 1 manicure is 2 uses, because otherwise these would be in here forever, and I do want to rotate through a lot of products with this project, but I was able to get my additional 4 uses, and we are all the way like down to here now, which is so impressive, especially for a creme polish. So you'll be able to see, I have my lines on my graphics. You'll be able to see how far down I was able to get on this one with just my, what, 5 manicures. And so that is very impressive. It gives me hope that I'll be able to use up some nail polishes in the near future. But the other one that I had in, again, was 6 out of 10 uses, is the Fallen Flaky Taco. And so we are all the way down to here. This one I get a lot of use on, and this one was pretty low down. When we rolled it in, it was in the middle of hollow. And so we've gone down quite a bit. So I am very thrilled. This one is getting a little thick. Like even when I turn it, it's not really moving anymore. So I might need to add some thinner to this as I go along. But I love the flakes from Holo Taco. I think that if I was to buy more polishes from Holo Taco, I would go with the flakes just because it's such a special formula. I have a INLP polish on today, which is this beautiful blue. It does have a hollow sparkle whenever I'm in the sunlight, but I was able to get my additional 4 uses on the Fallen Flaky, and that one is rolling out. And then this one was easier for me to do than I really expected. If you guys watch a lot of my videos, like at the end of June rolling into early July, you would have seen me do a lot of weird kind of ombres with the One Coat Black. And I can't really see how far down we are. I might have to let this settle, or you guys will see the weight changes when they pop up, but I was able to get my 10 uses on the One Coat Black. I do like doing a black nail polish, but I kind of have to be in a mood for it. So I think maybe in the fall time, I'll get a little bit more use out of the One Coat Black, but it really is, it is a beautiful formula. This is probably the best creme polish that from Holo Taco that I have, so I am happy that I was able to pull that out, because I mean I'm more or less going to reach for something sparkly like this over a like just a straight creme all the time. I love my sparkles. I'm not giving up my sparkles, so I am hanging on to those. And then let's see here. Is this the last rollout? Yeah, this is the last rollout that we have. And this was my e.l.f. lip oil in coral fixation. I told you guys last time that I had taken all of that product out of the original packaging and I put it into this here. And this lives on my bedside table. So I've used this more than 10 times easily. So we are really thin with this tube. I kind of feel like I almost might need to start adding more product to this depending on what I want to Franken to make this work, because it's getting really thin in there. But I am almost hopeful that maybe in another month of use, then coral fixation would be an empty in my collection and one more lip product out of my collection, since apparently I have been loving bringing lip products into my collection this year. But this, I'm fine with it. I don't really like the e.l.f. lip oil formula by itself, but being able to put it in a different component and also being able to add a little bit of a cream lip product to this to change the formula a little bit, I have liked it a whole lot better. So I got more than my 10 uses on that, and hopefully we will see that as an empty very soon. But that leaves us with our 4 items that are progress, and I have my little book open here with all of my tallies. So the one that has been in the longest, and we'll go ahead and we'll just go over my little blush palette that I am working on. So the one that's been in the longest is the Essence this is Bespoke. So this is the dupe for the Benefit Dallas, and I have only used this twice in July. I don't know if I was focused on other blushes, or maybe I was focused, no, I don't know what I've been doing in July with my makeup. But for Bespoke, we do have 8 uses, so we have 2 more. Since I only used this blush twice in July, I'm not going to preemptively roll in something in its place, even though I have 2 more uses, because it'll probably take me another 2 or 3 weeks to go ahead and get the other 2 uses on this. So that one's going to be staying in. Then I did have my Franken blush in Rowan rolled in, and I do have 6 uses on this. So I've been doing a lot more peachy type of looks, and so I was able to get 6 uses on Rowan. So we have 4 more. Really, really enjoying that shade. And then our last one is Makeup Geek Desire. I knew that Desire was going to be hard for me to reach for, and even when I swatched it last time for you guys, it had hard pan on it. So once I got that hard pan off, now I get the real pigment on this blush. So when I talk about how pigmented this blush is and how it stains, it did not come off the way it really, and there goes Jane Puppy Dog. This did not come off the way it should because I was rubbing onto hard pan and not actually picking up pigment. But if I put this blush on, it is a whole lot more impactful. And even that, like, that is a light swatch, but look how much pigment has stayed on my finger and stained. So I'm having a little bit more difficulty reaching for this. I kind of knew I would be just because of how pigmented this blush is. So I've only gotten the 1 use. So I still have 9 more. This to me is a lot more of a winter fall blush anyway. So I'm okay with this one staying in. Even though it's taking up a spot in this project, I'm okay with leaving this one in and using it up slowly over the next couple months as we roll into some colder weather. But let me see if I can get this pigment off my fingers, because otherwise this will stain. So let me see what I can do. Then we're going to go ahead and pull up my roulette wheel and roll in our new products. So as I was sitting here editing, I completely forgot to discuss one of the products in my Project 10 uses. So I'm popping in right now, and that is my Urban Decay liner in Wild Side. It is this beautiful pink sparkly shade, and as of filming that video, because I have used it an additional time, but as of filming the video, I had 6 uses on this eyeliner. So we have 4 more uses to go. It's staying in the project. This was the 4th product that I forgot mentioning because I got so wrapped up in my blushes, but I did want to pop in and not leave you guys guessing, because I know you all were in suspense, but I didn't want to leave you guys guessing about the eyeliner. So staying in for another round, 4 more uses on this, and still loving it. But now we are going to go into rolling in the new products. So I am back. I have my wheel pulled up. We are also ignoring the hair. Today is hair washing day, so the hair is doing its own thing. I threw it up into a high pony because I cannot do anything with it. But I do have my roulette wheel. I do have it on no repeating, so we will see if that actually works. Sometimes it does not. I'm actually onto a new page. I've filled up like 4 or 5 pages of items that I've been able to roll through between this project, and also I keep my deck of panning tracking in here as well. But we are picking 6 items, so lots of room for error, but I do love all of my products, so I'm not upset about what we will be getting. But let's do roll number 1. ColourPop Get Paid, that is a liner. And it also is a beautiful rose gold shade, so that one will not be difficult. But let's go for roll number 2. My Franken Cream Blush, the Pretty Thing. So that is my red cream blush. That's not in a project, so that is good. Roll number 3. Holo Taco Menti the Cat. I've actually been using that one quite a bit on my toes because it's a glitter. I've also had to start adding nail polish thinner to that one as well. But that's 3, so we still have 3 more to roll in. Let's go. Pick number 4 is going to be the highlighter palette in shade 1. So yeah, we have not rolled that one in yet. And that is one that I'm very close to hitting pan on as well. So hopefully those 10 uses will knock us over the edge for pan. So number 5. The shadow stick in Socialite. Okay, that one is like a champagne color. I wonder if you guys can ever hear that in the background. For you military people out there, a C-130 just flew over the house. So that's always fun. It's the sound of freedom. When you live around military bases and you hear the jets and you hear the planes all the time, and heaven forbid, when you hear the like gunships and stuff like that, we just call it the sound of freedom and we get very, very used to it. So, but we have our last roll in. My Victor and Rolf Ruby Orchid perfume. That is a travel size, and actually I've been wanting to focus on that one for the fall time more or less, but now will be a good time to do that because I do want to empty that one this year. So that is a wonderful pick. Let me pull these items real quick and we will look at them and go over them, and I'll be able to pop up my graphics with our starting weights and everything. But let me grab these and then we will be able to roll into our No Pan Left Behind, which is equally as exciting. But let me go grab those products. Okay, I have my 6 new roll-ins. So we are starting with the ColourPop, what are these actually called? Cream gel or creme gel liners. And this is in Get Paid. It is this beautiful rose gold, but I think it's already broken off at the base, so I have to be careful with it and not turn it upside down. But I'll do a nice swatch of this one. So that right there is Get Paid. So this will be very easy to roll into looks. I really do. I like the metallic formula from ColourPop better than the matte formula. The matte ones crack and crumble like almost immediately, whereas the metallic ones stay a little bit more creamy, but we'll do our 10 uses on that one. Then I do have my Franken blush, and this is in the red pink colorway that I have done. And this is what we're looking like on the inside. And I'll do a nice healthy swatch of this one just so we can see the color. But this is, excuse you, Inara, that is our blush right there. So it is a beautiful warm red color. Menchie the Cat, our nail polish, is this beautiful sparkly hollow pink. As you guys can see, we're down to here on this one. I did already have to add nail polish thinner to this one because when I turn it to its side, it's not moving. Like it is pretty much, like it's moving very slowly. It's gotten very, very gloopy. Like it's making the strings and pulling and just, this is a beautiful formula, and with it being a glitter, I do use like the peely base coat, and I mainly do this as a pedicure, but I will see what I can do about getting my 10 uses on Menchie the Cat, but I think there's only so much nail polish thinner you can put into these products before like it stops working, so we will see how much I can thin that product down. Now, our number 4 roll-in that we ended up getting is shade number 1 in the Tarte Highlighting Palette. Let me give you guys a swatch of that one. And I swatched off to the side because I don't want to cheat and end up hitting pan by swatching. But that's our highlighter shade right there. It is absolutely stunning. I love these highlighters, but super close to hitting pan on that one. So like I said, hopefully those 10 uses will push me over the edge with having those 10 uses. I do have another ColourPop. Now the shadow sticks, I include these in my eyeliner inventory because I'm more likely to use these as an eyeliner than as an actual shadow. And so this one is in Socialite. It is more of a pale champagne-y, like it's still kind of rose gold, but it's kind of champagne pink, but it is stunning. I think I'm going to end up really enjoying using this as a like as a lower lash line. I think that would be really beautiful to use that as my lower lash line kind of pop. So 10 uses on this one. The last one that we had was a perfume, and this is just my travel size of my Viktor & Rolf Ruby Orchid. And I'm getting a phone call from Dallas, Texas, which is probably a spam call. If they want to talk to me, they can leave me a voicemail. But I did put a mark where we're starting right there. And of course, we'll see in the graphics as far as what our weights are and everything. But we're not quite halfway, but we are, let's say, 1/3 done with this one already. Of course, 10 uses is not going to finish this thing up, but we will see how far down that 10 uses. Typically, I will do like 2 sprays, maybe 3 of a perfume for the day. So we'll see how far down we can get with this one. But this is not my favorite of the Viktor & Rolf, but it's still nice, but it's not my favorite. So it's almost a little bit too spicy. Like there's some spice in there, and then there's also, like, I smell like spicy citrus in here. So that's not typically what I'm going for, but I will enjoy getting more use out of this one because even though it's not my favorite, I still want to get my use on it, and I still want to have it as an empty by the end of the year. But that is everything for my Project 10 uses. I have more and more items rolling in. I will see, let me see if I can look real quick and see how many items I have been able to work through so far this year, since we're at like the halfway mark. Because did I do this last time? I can't remember, but let me go ahead and take a look real quick and see how many items I've actually been able to roll into this project. So I've been able to hit goal on 40 items in my collection. That boggles my mind. I love that though. That is the whole reason behind me doing this project, is to get use out of these things that maybe I wouldn't intentionally reach for every day. So to be able to get 40 items touched in my collection is absolutely amazing. And of course we have 10 more items rolled in. So maybe by the end of the year, if we could get to 70 or 80 items that I'm able to get through with this project, I will feel very, very good about that. But let me go ahead and put all this away. I have my palettes pulled out, so we will go into my No Pan Left Behind. I am going to just leave my swatches on my hands, so bear with me if you guys see the swatches come up while I'm talking about my palettes. But in my No Pan Left Behind, like I said earlier in the video, my intent with this part of the project is to touch every single eyeshadow in my collection for the year. I was able to achieve that goal last year, even with starting to track at, like I started tracking in March, and I was able to hit my goal by the end of the year. So tracking from the beginning of the year really has me hopeful. Plus, last update I shared that I was at like 49% complete. So we're already halfway there. But of course, I am adding more palettes as we go along. And bless my own heart, I'll be Southern, and I will bless my own heart. I have 3 more palettes coming in the mail. So stick around for the buys and buys that will be coming up in August, because I will be showing those 3 palettes that came into my collection. And I have no regrets and no shame about it because it fits in the budget. We are sticking to the budget. But I do have, how many palettes did I have rolled in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 palettes and a single. And so we are able to roll out 4 out of the 5. That feels really, really good. So that means we'll be drawing in 4 palettes, which again opens up for my palettes that have more and more shadows in them. But let's go ahead and go over the palettes that I was able to finally hit goal on. I think the one that has been in for the longest out of this group would be my Cosmic Brushes Muse palette. And don't get me wrong, I love this palette. It is absolutely stunning. But I think because, I think I told you guys that I was going out and meeting patients and clients more like outside the house. And so I'm typically not reaching for shades like this, even though they're beautiful. I'm not reaching for shades like this whenever I am meeting new people in a work environment. So it did take me a little bit longer to get through the shadows, but I finally was able to get through all of these shadows. And I have actually taken pictures. I think I've taken pictures every single day for my eyeshadow looks. And actually, I need to take a picture of today's look as well to include in there so you guys can get a more up close and personal look at it. But I've taken pictures of every single look. So at the end of this, when I'm kind of doing my wrap up spiel, I will make sure to do my side by side so you can see the looks that I was able to create. But I did hit every single shade in the Muse palette, and I still love the formula. I still love the shimmers in here. Everything is so smooth and beautiful. And so if there's a colorway from Cosmic Brushes that draws you in, you would not be disappointed with this formula. So highly recommend the palettes from Cosmic Brushes. Let me put this at the bottom because, again, I'm not trying to drop my palettes on the floor at all. That is something that I really want to try to avoid. But the next one that I was able to roll out would be my custom palette from Lethal. I had originally purchased two 12 pans and I put them together as a 24 pan in one of these Give Me Glow Z palettes, which I love the Give Me Glow palettes. They're absolutely beautiful. But this is the color story for our singles from Lethal. And I told you guys in a video, it's my Get Ready With Me from the Golden palette. I told you guys that the shade, was it Mycelium? My tongue hurts whenever I try to say that, but it's this shade right here. And I told you guys that this is a good kind of alternative for lime chrome. And just look at that shade. And it has a dark shift to it, but this is just stunning. So I wanted to show it on camera since I didn't pull it out because I was just focusing on like Natasha Denona palettes in the video from, I'm having it post on the 23rd, so 2 days ago, that video. But that Mycelium shade right there, absolutely stunning. But I was able to reach into every single shade. I love the Lethal formula. I love their shimmers more than I love their mattes. Their mattes are good, but I feel like they really shine, pun intended, but they really shine with their metallics and their duochromes, and they are just stunning. And they're so soft. Like, you just dip your finger slightly in and you get that sort of impact. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. So I was very happy to pull this in, even though it took me a little bit of time to get through those 24 shades. Very happy to have this. This color story is right up my alley, so very thrilled to have that one rolled out as well. And then the next palette that I was able to hit every single shade on would be my Urban Decay Naked Ultraviolet. This one here, again, I told you guys last time that it's frustrating that these purples are all satins or shimmers, except for the one matte shade right there. So it's hard to necessarily build a cohesive look. But even, was it Purple Dust, this dark one down here, like, I can use that in my crease. Like, I don't have any trouble putting that in my outer V or putting that in my crease, because I kind of feel like even though it has that sparkle through it, the pigments in the base come through more on the eyes. So that shade there I used a lot of times on the outer corner of my eye, and we're going to be covered in sparkles, but I'm totally okay with that. But I was able to use the more neutral side on, one look where I did go out and meet clients, because it does have this neutral side. And then, of course, I used the purples on more fun days, and I mixed this in also with my Pan That palette for the year. These purples combined really, really good for that. So while this is not my favorite Urban Decay palette, I feel like I do end up getting some really fun looks out of it because of those different tones of purple and because it makes me think a little bit more about how I'm going to create the looks. So this one I was able to get every single shade hit, and that leaves us with our last palette that we're able to roll out. And this is actually the palette that I have on my eyes today, and I had 2 more shades to use, so I got creative. And it is my ColourPop and the Mandalorian palette. So the 2 shades that I needed to use were the silver and then the middle kind of, is this even a duochrome? It's kind of like a blue-brown. Yeah, it's a blue-brown. And so that shade there, those are the 2 that I needed to use. So of course the silver is on the inside and the blue-brown is on the outside. And I was able to get the last 2 shades used in this palette. I don't want to repeat myself too much, but this is not my favorite palette. I basically keep it for merch because I love Star Wars, and so I'm happy to have this as merch, but it's not something where, heaven forbid, if I ever lost this palette, I wouldn't go out and buy it again. So I would more or less keep this palette for the packaging and for just the theming of it, not necessarily because I am so drawn to the shades that I can't get rid of them, but a lot of times I end up with these darker looks. Even though I do like a darker look, I like a little bit more of a like sassy look to me, but this is not something that I'm reaching for all the time. So, but I was happy to go ahead and get every shade in this palette done. I think this was in for 2 months. I believe so, because it does have some marks in June. I can't remember. Did this roll in? Let me see. Did this roll in last month? No, this has been in for 2 updates, so I'm glad to finally have been able to hit every shade in this palette. So that leaves us with 2 palettes that are actually 1 palette and 1 single that I did not hit my goal on. And this is kind of like shame on me, but I was kind of focused on getting these other shades done. Plus I have 2 other palettes that I was able to use every shade on. But my single, so my Essence Melted Chrome and Zinc About You, this one here, whenever I do have a single roll in, I'm getting covered in sparkles now, but that one's right there in the center. Gorgeous. I will sing it to the high heavens that Essence needs to come out with this formula again because this is the best that they've had. But whenever I pull in a single, I do put a 5 use goal on it just because it's easy to reach into a single once versus actually being a little bit more intentional with it. And so I was able to get, where's my book? I put my book away. Let me grab it. So I have 3 out of my 5 uses. So I only have 2 more uses on it, but obviously it's taken me a month to reach for this 3 times. So this is going to be staying in, but I'm not necessarily kind of penalizing myself and naming this as a palette. So we're still going to draw in 4 other palettes. And if I end up drawing another single, we'll still draw another palette because I want to keep 5 palettes regardless of how many singles I have in. So we have 2 more uses on that. And then the other one is another one that's in a Give Me Glow Z palette, but this one is full of Sydney Grace, ColourPop, and Makeup Geek. So this is another single palette that I created for myself. Love my greens and my purples. And so I've been able to get quite a bit of use on this. And oh, I just got makeup all over my book. I'm a little tidy. Like, I like to keep my makeup clean and I like to keep my stuff clean. And I just smeared probably the cream blush that's on my hand. I just smeared it on my book. That makes me upset. But I was able to get quite a bit of use on this. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I only have 9 shades out of 24 left to use. And there are 9 shades that actually I really, really love. This one, so this shade up here is Shimmer Shimmer. Shimmer Shimmer. That one right there, that one was so popular back in the day, back in the olden days. But it was a very, and you can't even see it on my skin, it just adds that twinkle. That was a very popular shade from Makeup Geek way back in like what, 2016, 2017. So that is one that I still need to use. I wouldn't even mind using that as a highlighter. So This palette is absolutely beautiful and stunning. So I still have my 9 shades, and so this one is staying in. But that leaves us with me pulling up my wheel and doing my screen recording. And, ooh, no. Let's do our honorable mentions now. So the 2 palettes that I brought in and was able to hit my No Pan Left Behind on are the Golden palette and my Mini Metropolis. You guys saw these in my most recent buys and buys, and so this is my 5-pan Metropolis, and so I was able to use every shade in this palette. Stunning, gorgeous, love. I think at this point, Natasha Denona has really like honed in on her formula, so we're not really getting disappointing formulas from her right now. And then of course you guys saw me use this a couple days ago in my Get Ready With Me, so I have been able to use every shade in the Golden palette, and the mattes are absolutely stunning. Like build up a look with the mattes, pop a shimmer or two on the lid, and I mean you won't be disappointed with what you get out of this palette. So used every shade in this, so that's 2 more palettes that are also checked off of my list for the year. But let's go in here, let me do my screen recording, and we're gonna pick 4 more palettes. So I have my book, I have my pen. To note, I do have Metropolis and the Natasha Denona Pastel palette. I have those rolled into Deck of Panning, so if those pop up, we will roll again. And so those are back there in my little holder, and so those are off limits, but I think everything else is good to go. So let's roll in palette number 1. That is actually the liquid shadow that I decluttered after having it in my Deck of Panning. So that one is gone out of my collection. So we're still going to roll. I thought I had this on no repeats. This happens every time, and I don't understand why it repeats itself. But that one is already pulled in. Let's get something new. Let's get something new. The Super Shock in Party of 5. So that's another single. I don't know. I don't think I have that one checked off, but either way, I'll still roll it in. I don't think that I've rolled that in to this project yet. Yep, Party of 5 is still on the table, so we will pull out Party of 5. Let me grab that right now before I forget. So I said even if we rolled in a single, we would still pull in 4 palettes. So we're still rolling. So let's see. Let's see if we can actually get a palette on this one. The Odin's Eye Trick or Treat palette. I was kind of worried about Trick or Treat being rolled in now versus in October, but the wheel has spoken, so we're going to roll in the Trick or Treat palette. So that's palette number 1. A Super Shock and Sail Away. Am I going to end up with a bunch of singles? Hey, like I said, I'm going with what the wheel is saying, so let me pull Sail Away. We're going to keep rolling. The wheel is on top of singles right now. Same Sail Away. Come on, wheel, give me something good. We already have that win in. Okay, the wheel is not giving me anything good. Just Peachy Mattes, I already have that one done. Mandalorian palette, we've already done that one. Okay, the wheel is doing me dirty. Ansley Rain Cold Moon, I already have that one done, because that was a new palette that came in. My single purple palette. Okay, finally something new. Okay, we can do the single purple palette. So that is 2 so far, so we still need 2 more. Because we're not, even though I pulled 2 singles, we're not counting those as the palettes. Utopian Dreams, I've already done. Mini Zendo, I've not done that one yet, so that is our palette number 3. And then we need 1 more palette. Mini Retro is done. Because Mini Zendo is the only one that I haven't done yet. And Norvina. Okay, I have not touched my ABH palettes yet. So Norvina, we can handle that. let me go ahead and pull those palettes. Okay, so we have our two, which is Sail Away and Party of Five. My hand is super sparkly, but we will try to do some swatches. Sail Away is not my favorite. It's kind of chunky, and so I've considered decluttering this a couple times, but it's just kind of a topper shimmer. And my memory card is about to be full, I believe, so if I get cut off, I will just come back after I empty my memory card. But Party of Five is still really, really creamy, and it's this beautiful purple shimmer. Absolutely stunning. I was running out of room, and my hand is so sparkly that I don't think it'll do the swatches justice, but that is absolutely beautiful. And actually, before my memory card cuts me off, I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to empty my memory card, and then we will come back and look at the rest of my palettes because I don't want it to cut me off ahead of time. Okay, so memory card is empty and reformatted, so we are back in business, but I did clean off my hand, so let's go ahead and I'm going to go back and swatch Party of Five. And it's not going to come off as anything spectacular. It's just going to give you that lovely sparkle. So this will go really good with my purple looks and again with my Pan That palette. So that's what we're looking like there. And then what did we pull? Let's look at my purple palette. So my purple palette is evolving and changing because I'm adding more shades to it, and I have already used these special shades that I got from Terra Moon and also from Give Me Glow, but I'm totally okay with going back into those and trying them again. But this is what my purple palette is looking like right now. It used to be just a 12 pan, but again, I've been expanding it a little bit. And so we are going to use every shade in this little Z palette purple palette. Let's look at the purple theme, which hopefully I'll be getting a lot of use out of my Pan That palette with all of these purples rolled in. But let me take out the brush. Am I like the only crazy person that keeps the brush in but never uses it? Maybe that's why I also keep all the film on my mirrors. But this is the, I almost called it Natasha Denona. No, this is the ABH Norvina palette. Again, beautiful, stunning. There are some warm shades in here that I never quite understood for this palette. And I still kind of get the itch to deconstruct this palette and put it into a Z palette and kind of only keep the top row, which is all those beautiful shimmers. I mean, you can't deny. Let's look at Summer. These are so soft and Dazzling. Good, like goodness gracious, those are beautiful. I have not purchased any of the new ABH palettes that have the big pans in them, and I am almost afraid that they wouldn't have this beautiful shimmer formula. And a lot of those palettes, like I feel at this point with my collection, unless a color story really sticks out to me, I probably already have it. So, but I mean, those are just stunning. Liquid metal. So that is the Norvina palette. So that one is rolling in. Then I do have all of my mini palettes from Natasha Denona. I've depotted most of them. Maybe here's a spoiler, but I have two other minis coming from Natasha Denona, and basically between the mini Metropolis and those two other minis, I will have this whole palette filled up with minis. So I'm going to wait for those other two to come in before I do another depotting. But the, what did I have? I had mini Zendo in, so that one is up top here. So I have already used one shade out of mini Zendo, but I'll go ahead and I'll use that shade again because it's one of the shimmers. And of course, what do we have? Three shimmers and two mattes. So that'll be easy to go ahead and use those 5 shades. But that up there is our mini Zendo. So I will be using all of that. I'm going to wipe my hand off on my pants because I do keep the sleeve on my Odin's Eye and Angie Trick or Treat palette because the artwork is just so beautiful. And the artwork is also on the palette, but this is what our inside color story is looking like. Of course, very Halloween-y, but I love these like electric lime greens. love it so, so much. So I do have a get ready with me using this palette. I'll try to link it up in the eye and down below if I remember in editing, but this is going to be the last palette that we have rolled in for this, this rotation. But still, we have, how many are in these? 14? 6, 7, yeah. So we have 14, then we have 5, then we have another 14. We have 9 left to go in the Makeup Geek and ColourPop and Sydney Grace. And then we have a 16. Don't want to drop this one because you can't get this one anymore. And then a 16 pan palette with this. We have a lot of shadows on board. Plus, like I said, I have 3 palettes that are coming in, and I don't consider a palette fully like reviewed until I have used every shadow. So I'm using every shadow of new palettes that come in as well. So I have a lot on my plate. So we'll be seeing these palettes over the next couple months because I really don't feel like I will be able to get through all of these, but really beautiful shades that I'm going to be able to use, and I'm very excited about using these. So I am, what, 4 more palettes past my 49%, so we might be at like 55% now with my palettes that I've been able to use. But if I keep adding more, Erin, if you keep adding more, then your percentage goes down. But I'm totally okay with that. I am loving all of my palettes. I'm loving all of the shades that I'm bringing in. I am die hard for Natasha Denona, so that is not hard for me to use those or purchase those palettes, but I am very happy with being able to touch all of my eyeshadows. So you guys are going to have to tell me, are you also doing a no pan left behind? How are you doing? Where's your percentage? If you keep track, have you hit any new pans through a project like this? You guys are going to have to let me know how you guys are doing as well. But I'm also going to encourage you to do all the things. I'm going to encourage you to hit a thumbs up on this video. Let me know that you guys are enjoying my content. And of course, if you have any ideas for other content or bonus videos, drop them down below too, because I have my normal videos that I post throughout the month, but I don't know, I struggle a little bit with coming up with like bonus videos or other little ideas because I'm not bringing in like a full face of new makeup every month to be able to do like a makeup look. I am intentionally using the things that I have. So you guys are going to have to let me know if there's a particular type of video that you would like to see from me if I'm not already doing it. But make sure to subscribe. I am trying to reach 2,000 subscribers by the end of September for a birthday present to me. I'm turning 40 this year, so it'd be great to turn 40 and also hit 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, and you guys are helping me rock that goal, so I appreciate you guys so, so much. But drop me that comment, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, hit the thumbs up, do all that stuff. It's free for you, but it helps me out immensely, so I appreciate each and every one of you. But I'm gonna go and put all these palettes away so that nothing ends up on my floor, and I will bid you guys a beautiful day, and I will catch you in my next one.